It's Wednesday, October 26th, and this is now on HNN.
As it defends itself against Russia's brutal aggression.
New at noon, what came out of the meeting between President Biden and top U.S. military officials regarding the war in Ukraine.
We're going to make sure we're competitive.
The CEO of Hawaiian Airlines says $39 inter-island flights are not sustainable.
I always have a memorable time.
We've got a preview of White Lotus Season 2. It's no longer in Hawaii, but we'll take you inside the new idyllic hotel with the cast.
All these stories, plus a very creative dad is putting other homeowners' Halloween decorations to shame. We'll show you coming up on This Is Now. Good afternoon. Thanks for watching. This is Now. I want to take you out live to Washington, D.C. at this noon hour, 6 o'clock there on the East Coast. Some developing news out of the nation's capital at this hour. President Biden met with U.S. defense officials today to discuss Russia's war in Ukraine, and we've got a lot of updates to get to there.
That's right. Russian President Vladimir Putin continues to push these internationally dismissed allegations that Ukraine plans to use a so-called dirty bomb. Natalie Brand has the latest.
At the White House, President Biden met with top U.S. military brass to discuss Russia's intensifying war on Ukraine.
We're going to continue to support Ukraine, together with our allies and partners around the world, as it defends itself against Russia's brutal aggression.
In Moscow Wednesday, President Vladimir Putin launched annual military exercises to test and display Russia's capabilities of using missiles carrying nuclear warheads. Without offering any evidence, Putin renewed Russia's claims that Ukraine is preparing to detonate a so-called dirty bomb. The conventional weapon, laced with radioactive material, is far less harmful than a nuclear bomb, but can spread terror and contaminate a limited area. Ukraine and the U.S., along with Western allies, dismiss Russia's accusations as disinformation, saying the Kremlin could be using the allegation as a pretext for escalation.
We have seen before that Russia has accused others for doing what they intend to do themselves.
This woman, who's been spending every night in a makeshift bomb shelter since Russia invaded last February, says she just wants to be at home. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
All right, joining us now, Peter Ingram, CEO of Hawaiian Airlines. Thanks for being with us here on This Is Now. Wanted to chat with you about some news that's, of course, trending today, the financial report that came out, reporting some losses in the third quarter. What's going on there with Hawaiian Airlines?
Yeah, well, you know, there's good news and bad news in that report, I think. I mean, we're seeing a strong recovery in a lot of parts of our network. North America to Hawaii demand is very strong. We've seen a good recovery in places like Sydney, Seoul, Korea, and so those are positive. There's a couple of things that are holding us back from a full financial recovery. One is the slower return of Japan traffic, even though we have seen some changes in policy in Japan that is going to help move us in the right direction in the months ahead. But right now, that's not contributing as it did before the pandemic. And then in the neighbor island, we're contending with some very low fares that are suppressing our ability to earn profits right now. But we made some recovery in the quarter, and our team's working hard to get us back to where we need to be.
The fare wars is what people refer to it as. I don't know if you refer to it that way with Southwest. I wanted to talk about market saturation. Do you have any worries about that? I know this week there was even reports that Frontier eyeing routes to Hawaii. Are you worried about there's too many airlines focusing on Hawaii? And what are you guys doing to combat that?
Well, look, we know there's incredible demand for leisure travel around the world, but Hawaii is, in my estimation, the best leisure destination in the world. So we're always going to face competition. That's been something that we've dealt with over the course of 93 years in business now. And, we don't get to control who we compete with, but we've got to make sure we put our best foot forward and we earn the the trust of our guests and make sure they want to keep coming back and flying Hawaiian when they're coming to Hawaii.
But I guess $39 fares each way, is it sustainable as a business as in this market?
Yeah, the $39 fares are not sustainable. And, you know, I know it's great for consumers right now. It's incredibly affordable. And I encourage people, as long as they're out there, you should absolutely take advantage of them. But just to put those $39 fares in perspective, that's $39 including federal taxes. If you take the federal taxes out, what the carrier receives on that is $26.05. And you think about the costs of flying the airplane, from the pilots, the flight attendants, the ground staff, the landing fees, the rent, the cost of the aircraft, that is not going to cover the total cost. So in the long term, it's not sustainable, but that's the fare in the marketplace right now, and so we're gonna make sure we're competitive with it. We've been flying between the islands for 93 years. We intend to fly between the islands for 93 more and beyond that, and so we're prepared to compete and take on this competitor as we have others in the past.
All right, last question. Wanted to get back to the talk of Asia travel. The yen, super weak right now. Any concern there, and any fair deals coming that way because of the yen?
Yeah, I think it is, you know, it's a really different situation from where we were before the pandemic. The yen is depreciated by at least 30% at this point. And, you know, it makes it very expensive for someone from Japan to come here. You think about, you know, how the costs of hotels and other pieces of the accommodation here in Hawaii have gone up in U.S. dollar terms. Add another 30% on top of that, and that's what the Japanese visitor is looking at. Now, for people traveling from Hawaii to go visit Japan, it's a great opportunity because your money's going to go a lot further while you're there. We've seen that part of our demand really ramp up very quickly. It's a smaller piece of the overall picture of demand, unfortunately for us, but that piece has really ramped up quickly as people are taking advantage of the strong dollar to enjoy travel to Japan now that things have opened up.
Yeah, that's with the dollar versus yen, but still, second part of that question, any fair deals in the works? Do you think there'll be any cost cutting there?
Well, you know, there's always fair promotions that go on. We respond to the market on a daily basis, and so just keep your eyes out or look in your emails for those Hawaiian Airlines emails, and we'll make sure we keep people posted.
I always do. All right, Peter Ingram, thanks so much for being on This Is Now. Let's toss it back over to Ashley with more news.
As Americans continue to struggle with rising costs, President Biden is laying out steps his administration is taking to provide consumers with what they call more breathing room. We're joined now by Chris Wynn from our nation's capital. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Ashley, with the economy and rising inflation top of mind for so many, President Joe Biden today detailed the efforts his administration is taking to crack down on so-called junk fees, saying they all add up for the American consumer. Take a listen.
Today, my administration is announcing new actions to lower the cost of everyday living for American families, to put more money in the pockets of middle income and working class Americans, to hold big corporations accountable.
The Biden administration is now taking action across agencies to help cut down on so-called junk fees, defining them as designed either to confuse or deceive consumers or to take advantage of lock-in or other forms of situational market power.
These are junk fees. They're unfair and they hit marginalized Americans the hardest, especially low-income folks.
According to officials with the National Economic Council, the fees fall into 4 categories: mandatory fees that often hide the full price, surprise fees that consumers learn after purchase, exploitative or predatory fees, and fraudulent fees. The White House points to hidden charges and added fees on airline tickets, hotel bookings, and cable bills. And the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is issuing guidance on some banking fees.
We're taking enforcement actions, like one against a large bank for charging illegal overdraft fees, and customers will see hundreds of millions of dollars in refunds.
The new rulemaking process aims to make fees more transparent and comes with the midterms less than 2 weeks away.
This is an attempt to tell voters that they are trying to ease the pains of the pocketbook, because that's what Republicans have said over and over again.
The president also using today's event to talk about the downward trend in gas prices, as well as the lower cost of hearing aids, as just 2 examples in which his administration has been successful in recent weeks. In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn, Hawaii News Now. Ashley?
Now, Chris, as we head into the midterms, the president's poll numbers concerning for Democrats. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, simply put, the numbers aren't looking good, Ashley. The president's job approval rating is now down at 40%. That's according to the latest Gallup poll. And so with that said, Republicans will continue to have a strong advantage going into the midterm elections. Look for Democrats to switch up their messaging. Ashley?
All right, Chris Wynn joining us from our nation's capital. We appreciate the time, Chris.
All right. Back here in the H&N Digital Center, we got to talk about the weather. It was gloomy out there.
Yeah,
overnight.
I had some rain this morning.
Yeah, It was a little damp. I want to take you live outside, show you a live picture from Sacramento, California's capital. The temperature there right now, 66 degrees, only 9 degrees off from our 75 degrees out there right now live. Want to turn things over to Guy Hoggy. There's some few changes in the works for our weather, and especially with the surf. Here he is.
Time to get your Hawaii News Now weather app. Get your phone out and turn on the camera, point it to the QR code, and then you get the Hawaii News Now weather app. That way you can get all the weather information in the palm of your hand, all the severe weather notices as well. No severe weather notices today because we've got, just cloudy skies, going to be damp. It's going to be breezy today. It's going to be one of those days kind of dingy. So we still are expecting some leeward sunshine. That's why that UV index will be very high at 8. And yes, the days are getting shorter. Sunset tonight, 5:58. Surf is on the rise. We've got a nice little swell rolling into the north and west shores, more north than west. And Laniakea is probably going to be a hot spot. Going to be crowded, make no mistake about it, but not a big swell. But there's a series of swells coming into the North Shore over the next several days. And South Shore's down, maybe about 1 to 3, maybe about belly high. But the next time we're going to see a swell is probably Thursday night into Friday. So the South Shore wave machine is still working.
Premiering tonight on your H&N digital platforms, a brand new documentary produced by our H&N digital team, bringing in Davis Pittner. He produced this. Davis, this is about Ukraine. We got the latest on the situation at the top of the hour. But what is your documentary about?
Yeah, Jonathan, ever since the war began late February, thousands of Ukrainians evacuated Ukraine across the world, and a lot of them are here in Hawaii. And so, as we see in this documentary, I spoke to 3 families about what it was like to, what Ukraine was like before and their journey from Ukraine here to Hawaii. And some of these stories are remarkable and, tragic, too, to hear what's happening over there.
Yeah, I know you put together a preview for us. I want to play that out for us right now.
My sister called my mother and tell that Russia attacked Ukraine. But I'm like, no way, never. Russian people is our brothers. We can believe it. It's happening in real time.
We put some clothes, left house and went away.
We even couldn't imagine how terrible they could be.
To Survive, Voices of Ukrainians in Hawaii, streaming Wednesday at 6 on all Hawaii News Now platforms.
So, Davis, I know you got to get to know a lot of these folks. What's some of your takeaways from producing this documentary?
Yeah, Jonathan, after putting this all together, I think the main point of that a lot of these Ukrainians wanted to get across is that they need help. They've been holding these rallies over on Magic Island for weekends, for months, ever since the war began, and they're asking for help. And it's just clear that this war isn't going anywhere anytime soon right now. And for a lot of these families, Hawaii's paradise for the rest of us. But for them, this war is taking up their minds and hearts, and it's still an ongoing battle for them, even here.
Davis, remind us, how can we watch this documentary tonight, and what's it called?
Yeah, Jonathan, it's called To Survive, Voices of Ukrainians in Hawaii. You could find it. It's streaming tonight at 6 p.m. on all our digital platforms, including Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. We are also creating 6 stories that are also online now. And you can also listen to it, too. We're creating a podcast version wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah, just search Hawaii News Now. Wherever you get your podcast, you'll be able to find it. Looking forward to seeing the final version. I saw the draft, and it looked amazing. So good work.
Thank you. Thanks, Jonathan.
Well, the Emmy-nominated dramedy White Lotus returns to HBO. It's not set in Hawaii this season. Let's turn things over to Nichelle at Entertainment Tonight with a preview.
Aloha, Jonathan. The second season of White Lotus shares the original's premise. A whole bunch of strangers meet while on vacation, but this time they're visiting a brand new paradise.
Whenever I stay at a White Lotus, I always have a memorable time. Always.
So did it feel like a vacation then, as you were filming this?
Oh my God! It was to be in Sicily. It was incredible.
We had many dinners.
Okay.
You know that's what you do in Italy. You know you
eat,
you drink, you mangia.
The wine and the food and the music and the art, all that kind of is infused into this story.
Get ready for a good time.
Season 2 brings back Jennifer Coolidge and John Grise and adds a bunch of stars, including Theo James, Megan Fahey, F. Murray Abraham, The Sopranos' Michael Imperioli, and Aubrey Plaza.
So you get the call that you get to be part of the second season. Aubrey, what was your reaction?
Oh my gosh, it was like Willy Wonka all over again. I was like, I got the golden ticket. I couldn't believe it. I was psyched.
And one guess who was everyone's favorite on set?
I just loved sitting back and watching her and trying not to pee my pants, which I did a couple times.
Everybody has been gushing about you on this press day, Jennifer. They look up to you. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's probably because I'm the oldest.
And tune into ET tonight for our exclusive interview with Bob Saget's widow, Kelly Rizzo. She invites us into her home to remember Bob a few days before what would have been their 4th wedding anniversary. It's very emotional. Don't miss it. For Entertainment Tonight, I'm Nichelle Turner.
Thanks, Nichelle. Bummer that they're not filming here anymore, but I can always rewatch the first season to get those island feels. And the new one looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Italy over the summer, and you're right. Eat.
Sicily? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the first season. It's worth watching, though?
Oh, 100%. You got to. I binge watched it. I think I watched it in one day.
Okay.
You have to watch.
All
right, let's see what else the internet is talking about today. And we got some very interesting eats. Yep. Are you feeling hungry for maybe maggots, brains, rotting flesh? No, I'm not being serious. It's all about cakes here. Yeah, this is the UK's largest baking show. It's returning with a Halloween-themed baking competition. It's called Cake and Bake Show in London. Wow, look at these. Whoa. So there's things like there was a cat there was a zombie bride. There's the cat right there. You know that's my favorite.
Oh, I know.
Little Dracula. That's my cat's name. Oh, so cute. But there is a winner to all this, and we'll get to that video right now. Check it out. This is coming from a Bulgarian baker. Her name is Sylvia Jankowski, who runs a biscuit business called Bricky Picky. That's a lot of B's. Her colorful cupcakes tell the story of a pumpkin race. Yeah, I can see it.
Very cute.
Wow, that is detailed.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Whoa.
And it's cake?
Those are cupcakes.
Wow.
But yeah, cake, all edible. Yeah, I do not have any skills. There's the winner right there showing off her cakes.
Very cool.
More Halloween news.
Yeah, so from cakes to candy, Halloween treats, they're getting smaller due to shrinkflation and a move by candy companies to reduce calorie counts. That's according to the Washington Post. Now, the Post listed some examples. A bag of dark chocolate Hershey's Kisses has shrunk by a couple of ounces. A 2-pack of Reese's peanut butter cups has been lightened by 1/10 of an ounce, and a Cadbury milk chocolate bar, they're about 10% lighter than they used to be. Now, a group of big players in the candy business also joined forces for a health initiative back in 2017 to reduce calorie counts, offer more portion sizes, and put calories on the front of packaging. No one wants to see that. The report also says candy sizes and packages are shrinking, but overall candy prices are not.
Well, just Forget about shrinkflation. You can make up for it by finding the Richie Riches in the neighborhood. Every kid knows this hack. And get the full-size, king-size bars. There's someone handing them out there in some neighborhood. And you just go there. You don't have to worry about the shrinkflation that way.
Yeah, there was I remember when we were kids, there was a house that handed out dollar bills.
What?
Yeah.
Money?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. I'd be first in line for that one. For sure. Get all the candy bars you want. For sure. All right, we got some even more Halloween news to get to, and this is what we're really excited about.
Yeah, so Halloween and This Is Now's anniversaries coming up right around the corner. So we're putting on our third This Is Now virtual costume contest. You can upload your best costume pics to hawaiinewsnow.com through Friday. Jonathan and I are going to pick 6 finalists, and then the top 3 photos with the most likes will, on our Instagram page, they're going to be declared the winners. We'll announce them next Monday on This Is Now at noon, and we will be decked out in costume. Top 3 winners will receive $100 gift cards to some of the really good restaurants at the International Marketplace. Thank you to IMP, our sponsor for this contest.
Yeah, we got strip steak.
Yeah, Moani.
Yeah, awesome. $100.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. All right, so you thought we were done with Halloween news. No, not at all. So in Good News Now today, we're going to introduce you to a dad who is really putting the rest of the neighbors to shame. Let's turn things over to Jeremy Roth, who warns us to beware of this monster.
In the Halloween decorating game, there's lame, and then there's destined for fame. Behold, the Monster. It's the latest creepy and crafty concept from industrious Iowa dad Greg Dietzenbach, who went viral a couple of years ago for crafting this interactive monster Zoom call costume for his daughter. For this year's crazy creation, Dietzenbach had to craft a front door from scratch. He then incorporated a high-def TV for the blinking eyes, animated arms constructed from broom handles, and a homemade foam-hinged wreath for the monster's moving mouth. It's sure to add a scare to the sweet surprises waiting for trick-or-treaters. That is, if the kids even stick around for the candy. The other front stoop staple of Halloween is, of course, a fabulous festooned pumpkin. Haven't prepped a pumpkin yet, you say? Good Gord, what are you waiting for? With Halloween just days away, there's no better time to take in some clever pointers from viral carving consultant Barbara Costello. The social media savvy 73-year-old took to TikTok with tip-top tips like carving your pumpkin from the bottom instead of the top, using a hand mixer for quick and clean seed removal, that's legit genius right there, trading carving tools for cookie cutters in a pinch, and even using Vaseline to prolong its life. Priceless pumpkin hacks for happy pumpkin hacking. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Those are some awesome hacks. I've never heard of some of those. Yeah, I've heard the Vaseline one, but the cookie cutters, genius.
Yep.
You probably ruin the cookie cutters if you're jamming them.
What's it called?
The mixer.
Mixer? Yeah.
Hungry for pumpkin pie, for real.
That's the next holiday.
Yeah. Well, you take the guts and then you make the pie. All right, time for one more story, I believe.
Yes, so scientists have discovered 6 new species of rain frogs in Ecuador. Now, the new species were all found in remote places in national parks on the eastern slopes of the Ecuadorian Andes. So the discoveries took place during multiple expeditions over several years, and the scientists decided to name one of the species Resistencia, or Resistance, in honor of environmental activists killed in Latin America. They say over the past decade, Latin America has become one of the most dangerous regions in the world for environmental advocates.
Okay, these are some really up-close pictures of frogs for our podcast listeners, but look at the size of those feet. I never realized frogs have toes that long.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're huge. All right, that's enough.
The more you know.
Yeah, the more you know. That's it for This Is Now. That's the more I know. Ashley's back first at 4. Even more that I know. And again, we're podcasting all the time here at H&N. Just search Hawaii News Now, wherever you get those podcasts. Bye-bye.